Hi, I am so glad you are joining us and Ashley's scanning the screens. So Denise and Ashley, we're back and we've got this new and exciting diamond energy update for you because Ashley, it's been what, 5 or 6 months since we did the last one, and there's just been so much information coming in and energy changes and flares and eclipses. And so we want to sort of anchor in some new information about the Diamond Kids at
Mhm.
this time. And you've just had, you sent me a plethora of really good information. So if we're going to start on this, how would you launch that off? What would be the thing that you want to kick off first?
Okay, so over the last couple of months, I guess it'd be more than a couple, that's given some time to really do on my end to doing a lot of the experimental aspect and just making sure that what I'm talking about is actually effective, what is actually working. It's given me a lot of time to be able to really put that into practice, which is great. And so I bring to you, like, as far as you can do experiment and evidence and test your hypothesis and things like that, that's not what I've been doing. But for those who are scientifically minded, it is what I've been doing. So I have, come to this point. I've been utilizing this, but it seems to be landing better now. And what it is creating they're bringing in a whole new foundational frequency for this planet. Not just them, but we all are. So we're all in a new, we all have the ability to not tap into, to just exist in and really thrive in this new foundational frequency that we have access to and we're in. So, you know what? It's not about tapping in. It's not about, willing it to be or commanding to be in this. We are just in it now. So things work in a way that they haven't perhaps been experienced before. And that's really cool. So given all of the stuff, like what Denise was saying about the flares and the geomagnetic storms and this and all the energy swirling and all this stuff around, that's a good thing because that has to be done so that we can get to where we are to get these practical things out for people to be able to really be able to care for, or not just their own child, but also themselves. Because this is really about how this is your relationship with you. Like if you're a parent or a caregiver, teacher, friend, human being in general, who has contact with any child, and let's just say for this point of this information we're sharing, a diamond child, because what's good for a diamond child is good for any child. That's kind
Right.
of how it rolls. And if you look back at all the different frequencies of children that we've kind of covered, if you look at the indigos, the crystals, rainbows, and then diamond children, everything that's good for each one of them is actually good for all children. It's like, it's nice to be patient with an indigo and hear them out. It's nice to have somebody hear you out. It's nice to spend time just, listening and noticing as a crystal does, to be able to be taught through that compassion, through that heart space. Okay. Like that's good for all children. Having your emotions validated, having the ability to cry is good for all children, not just rainbow children, but it's good for rainbow children. It's good for all children. And then for a diamond child, what's good for them is good for all children, which means it's good for all humans. Just
Mhm.
like, we have physical things that are great for good for kids that are, neurodivergent. And what's pretty much good for what's comfortable makes life easier to exist in for neurodivergent children actually makes a life easier to exist in for children who wouldn't be necessarily considered neurodivergent. Like
Right.
fluorescent lighting is for no one. It's nice to have a comfortable, well-held sweatshirt in a room full of people you don't know. If it's a little bit cold, if you need a little bit of space, everybody. And if you, it's a good thing to be able to have access to. You don't have to wear it all the time. You might not like to wear earphones all the time, but they're good to have. It's good to have these things. So everything that we're saying is not just exclusive to diamond children, but that's what we're focusing on today. So as it begins with talking about this foundational frequency, their vibration, they are, their emotion first, okay? The communication styles, okay? With any child, okay, if a baby doesn't speak, you know how they feel, they know how you feel. If you look upset, they don't like it. You can pretend to look sad to a baby and they still might laugh because you're being silly, and your vibration with that baby is that of love. And so they're having fun. But if you're angry, they may very well start to cry, even if you're not yelling at them. They may start to, you know, demonstrate some fussiness because you're fussy. Because you're, you know, the more you get fussy with the baby, they don't get calmer. I've never known ever that to happen, right?
It's true.
So
It starts with us as the human, as the adult, and we put it out, and then our children respond to us. And each child, as they get more, if they have a higher ability or a more expanded ability to hold light, are going to have a much easier or fluid reaction to our emotions. And that's what we're talking about.
Okay. Yeah. So what it starts out with is, you know, kind of when Denise asked me to come up with some things that we were going to talk about today, the messages and the information that I received or was, you know, was brought into my awareness was, you know, about the feelings first. And what I mean by feelings, understand too, I am in my work, I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I am a, you know, board certified clinical hypnotherapist. I do all this types of things. I'm a very clinical person. I've had all my stuff that I do. So this is all very much, and I also am a metaphysician. So I do blend it all together, but I do also want you to understand, like, I work very much in feelings. So this is great that I'm not giving any kind of medical advice, but I am giving you information from a perspective that is a professional perspective as well. So we know that feelings don't mean thoughts. If you ask somebody, is a thought the same as a feeling? They would say, no, of course not. However, if you ask somebody to tell you how they feel, that's like, let's just say above the age of 10, they're most likely going to be like, well, I don't like her. If somebody said something mean to them, how do you feel? She's mean. That's not a feeling. That's how they think about what just happened, and their feeling is not what they're answering. Even an adult, if you say, oh, how do you feel when, you know, so-and-so talks to you in that way? Well, it's almost like he wants me to feel bad. It's like, that's not what I asked you. I asked you what your feeling was. It is a very hard thing, even though cognitively, rationally, consciously, we would know, oh yeah, thought's a thought and a feeling is something. Wait, what is a feeling? Most people might actually stop for a second and say, what is it? A feeling is a sensation. A feeling is a sensation. It's something that you are sensing, noticing sensationally. Okay. When you have no feeling, that means you are in the felt perspective or felt perception of perhaps neutrality or contentment. Okay. That's actually,
it's still doing this. It just means that you're one with it, and it doesn't have a language to you. It's just comfortable.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we're always in a vibration. We're always in a sense. Okay. We are always sensing. We're always sensing constantly. We tend to pay more attention to the more extreme ends of things because, you know, in that polarities that humans are still really working towards, you know, we still have them. Okay. It's this or this, and little bits, you know, kind of go unnoticed. They're just a little bit harder sometimes to detect. But once you start to notice actually how you're feeling, sensing, oh, I just put my hands on the microphone. So if anybody made a big sound, I apologize.
It's fine.
Okay. So if you're noticing, okay, like right now I can tell you how I feel. My heart's beating just like a tiny bit faster than I would be if I was in the middle of a past video. It takes me a little bit to get going, so I'm not surprised that my heart's beating a little bit faster. When I said that to you, I noticed that my hands are pretty stiff on my lap. That's how I feel right now. I actually really notice my chest the most, in the front of my chest, not so much in the back. I feel a little bit of a, you know, that's it. And you know what happens when I notice my feelings? I'm not having thoughts. Okay. Because I'm telling you how I actually feel. And when we put thoughts on top of feelings, that it's like slathering them with peanut butter, making them denser, not allowing us to actually get the message so that we can use our magic that lies within each and every one of us, which is our beautiful divine within each and every one of us. I call it the divine, call it whatever you want, your essence, your charge, your source, the God that lies within all of us, that drop of God, whatever, that energy that animates us, that's within us, does a whole lot more than we ever knew we knew it did. Okay. So when it comes to feeling, but it's vibration. We are all vibration. Everything is vibration, right?
All
Yeah.
sentient beings are vibrational and hold energy and communicate vibrationally to each other.
Right. So is this desk. It's vibrating at a rate that allows for it to be what is perceived as solid. Okay. Right. This is a wooden desk. It's not a conductor of, electricity, which is why I can have a bunch of electrical things on it. And if I spill water on my desk, it's not going to ignite. Okay. But it still has a vibration. Our bodies are composed to be able to hold in this amazing power. And I call it a power. It's like a divine power that we all have. Our bodies are completely put together in a way so that in that perfect elemental and alchemical and subtle energy way to hold that incredible source energy within us. So when you think about your body, think about it like that. Like it's put together really well to be able to hold that. Like, wow. Okay. And to do the stuff that we do. Wow. So this body's for a lot more than just walking around. It's conducting, and it really has a lot to say. So listening to your body is not just but it is housing, but it's insulating, and it's working with, and it's conducting a lot of things here. So you have this little thing inside of you that's housed and insulated and able to be in this physical world because of your body and because of whatever body holds it. A blade of grass has a structure that can hold whatever essence of life that it has within it, right? Okay. So we're made up of a lot of water, right? Mostly water.
I think it's 72%, which is also, interestingly enough, the exact percentage of the earth. So our body and our earth match the exact levels.
Well, to me, that's no coincidence there. However, thank you for saying that, because that is really valuable. Yeah. Okay. So the earth is, we got a lot of water going on. Water, as far as water is emotion. Okay. It's a fluidity. It's always moving through your central nervous system, all of your blood, your cardiovascular system. I did it again. If I hit the microphone, I'm so sorry. Your cardiovascular system, your excretory system, everything is water. So if you're made up of mostly water, 72%, okay, there's a lot of things to be sensed. It has a pretty good system, so we don't have to notice every slosh and dam buildup, okay? But when there's enough, we notice things internally, yeah? But this is the stuff we don't need to be in dire pain to notice our body, okay? Human beings, evolutionarily speaking, are geared to be able to endure pain, okay? Physical pain, right? We are, right? So anything that wasn't pain, we all as a human race have a propensity to be able to endure to a higher level than maybe we even give ourselves credit for. But that being said, now that people can address their emotions, okay, more openly, because emotional pain was not something that people even had time for. There was no time for it because people were like trying to not get dead and stuff for a long time. And up until very recent modern history, and in some cultures, in some places, people are also they don't have time. If there's a disaster going on, nobody's dealing with, I'm feeling very guilty about the way I treated my friend in 6th grade. No one's doing that. Okay, though it may have some sort of samskara in their body, or they have a blockage from that. That's not priority. We're prioritized to be able to not get dead and, thrive the best we can, right? So now we're in a place where, though it may not seem that way, we actually are able to feel things that weren't considered feel worthy Because think about that. How long was it that, well, if I don't feel anything, why am I talking about my feelings? You do feel something. Notice what you feel. Well, I feel neutral, like think, okay, so that's what neutral in your body feels like. That's a great thing to know. Because if you feel nothing, you actually might be misinterpreting that. Your body is in a state of stasis, in a way, equilibrium perhaps. But then if you start to notice even more, actually, I notice the back of my neck a little bit. Oh, okay. And maybe I notice a little bit more down when I bring so when I bring my awareness to places, I can notice those parts of my body. Oh, wow, interesting. So when it comes to talking about these children, we're vibration first, yeah?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Even scientifically, everything is light and vibration.
Mm-hmm.
So we know how to do light and vibration already,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what we are. How about that?
Now we're just being asked to ramp it up or to get more sophisticated in our knowledge of this.
Which means just acknowledging that we already know how to do it. So if you can ride a bicycle in Montana, you can probably also ride a bicycle in Pennsylvania, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So if you already know, I like to do things with people with stuff they already know how to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So like we know how to do vibration and light already. Yeah. So all we're doing is we're just attending to something we already know how to do a lot really well already. So I'm not asking anybody to even consider doing something that they have no knowledge or no experience of doing, because they do it all the time.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, yes, you can look at it as amping it up, ramping it up, sure. Or you can look at it as, I guess I do know how to do that. Just that, because try to disagree with that. I don't think a scientist can disagree with that.
Mm-mm.
I don't think a scientist could disagree that we know a lot about vibration, because we do it all the time.
What I was thinking is often we take what do I want to say? We just take advantage of the fact that we can navigate through the world. And
Haha. Thank
certain
you for saying
children
that.
and certain relationships make it easier to just cruise or numb out or not feel. And then when you have a child that needs this from you on a different level, you're like, oh, wait a minute, or wow, this is what I get to learn how to do. So it means that we have to expand our conscious awareness of the fact that they're feeling more vibrational information than we have been for maybe a few years or a decades, or whatever. So when I'm saying we have to expand it, it's more like, step up your game, Mom, because you've been checked out when you come home from work, and I need you to sort of notice what's going on so we can interact and connect.
That could not, in any other place or space, ever been said better than that. That was outstanding. That's exactly it. We have taken, often unknowingly, for granted the things that that Denise was just talking about. So you get put in a relationship as a parent to one of these children. I think those of you who have been given the opportunity, not by accident, but very much by design, to raise one of these children, to be their Sherpa here on Earth for a while. They need you. They can't do this without you. No one climbs Mount Everest without a Sherpa. Okay? Sherpas have Sherpas. Okay? They need you. Okay? This is a very symbiotic relationship. Mm-hmm. They are giving you the perfect setting to be able to go forth and do things. They will open up for you the places to go, and you guide them through it. Okay, so that means that you must cover these bases that you have not maybe ever once, that in your working memory, or maybe even at all, ever considered. Like, oh, so this is what, because they can actually stop you from thinking, because I've been stopped from thinking. That's the diamond power. How about an interesting update today? A power of a diamond children is they can wipe your mind completely clear.
I don't think I realized that. You've never told me this, and you said that, and I'm like, yep, been there, just experienced that. Okay, next.
wipe it, boom, here comes the next. And then you feel, and what are you left with in that moment? I don't care why that happens. They have this magical ability to be able to wipe your mind completely out. And if you notice, and even if you have a teenager or if you have a young adult, okay, they started trickling down. Those kids can do it too. By saying something, they can wipe your mind out. But the diamond, the difference between the words, the diamonds don't say anything. They just kind of come in and you are left. If you were going to go into like some long-winded explanation, you're like, I fought it for a while. I kept trying to plow through. And so I say to all of you, you don't have to do that because I did it. And there's maybe some others who've done it too. And I've learned this all in a very failing forward way. Okay. I look at it all as enduring so that, because I always knew I'd figure that it would come to what it has come to at every step along the way. Not easy. Fought it. I'm going to explain this. No, explain nothing when you are in a state other than complete clarity and peace within yourself. Because when you have peace, guess what you get to share? What is essential. Because what's essential is only maybe, doesn't even have to be a word. Comes right from that central organized center of that essential site, the essential experience from that heart energy. Okay, these kids, you don't have to balance their heart chakras ever. You don't really have to balance a diamond child's chakras at all. You can, and I do recommend doing it because it's good to just check in with them, but they're really able to organize this stuff for themselves pretty well. The earlier you introduce subtle energy work with them, here's another fun update you can do. The earlier you introduce subtle energy work into them, the better, because they already know how to do it and it just validates stuff that they already know how to do. You want them to keep it on mind.
What do you mean by subtle energy work?
Subtle energy work, prayer, focused intention, coming to them in the evening and clearing their energy from where they've been. Just notice how, because I used to do it. Actually, Denise recommended I do this when my son went to an early childhood program that he was able to get through the day. It was not the right place for him. And Denise said, just wipe him, just like clear him off right before I put him in the car and just throw it all into the earth and be done with it. And when I did that, even it was a nice, fun little exercise. And I never stopped because he noticed it and maybe it was me and how I felt, it doesn't matter. It really helped. Okay. So I never stopped doing that. And I just did, continued on with that. Yes, okay. A diamond never isn't a diamond. You don't get dirty internal diamonds. What happens is they can get,
they're always going to shine no matter what you do. They just get stuff on top of them that you have to,
That's basically it. So when things are cloudy, sometimes the other things can get a little nudged around. So just making sure you're cleaning off their energy, putting it all the way through their body, all the way up their body, things like that. Could be as simple as, it's, that you sync up with the frequency of love divine all the way up, all the way through, whatever it is that most people that are watching this are probably geared towards a lot of, energy work. Have them go to Reiki, have them, work with, just even sound healing to anything that resonates with you. Guess what? It will probably resonate with them.
Yeah.
If you like singing, sing. If you like magic stuff, do magic stuff. If you like prayer, if you like, devotions, things like that, anything that just affirms you're acknowledging the spirit. That actually is very, very helpful for the diamond because that cleans up their field. That shines them up. It doesn't take it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it makes sense that it's a dual-edged sword, that kind of cuts through things. When you like something, when you enjoy it, then you're in joy and it's smooth and the vibration is smoother. So when we do things we like and we share it with a child, then they have something that they can bump around and play with. So it starts with us again.
It's always back to us. This is always about us. I work with children and adolescents. I don't have therapy sessions for kids that are just because they are a, highly sensitive person. That's not what I do. when it comes to the work with the child. If they have an anxiety issue, that's separate from something, okay? That's not who they are. We don't need to, it's about having the parents recognize who they are. These kids have a lot more deep knowing of who they are. They have a lot of confidence. And they can also, they don't question their anything because they're purists. They know what they are. Okay. They're still kids and they're humans, but they have an ability to not take things, they're not soaking in as their identity because they're more of, they hold more of this frequency. They have an expanded consciousness. They're more aware by at least 40%. I would say they're probably 50% more aware of things than we are. So that means that they're more aware of their body. Being more aware of your body can demonstrate in human terms as looking like they don't have much awareness of their body. But if I knew everything that it took and I had to think about and I had to feel every muscle fiber, let's say, in my hand, every time I squeezed my hands together, not a pain, that sensation of what it must, like all the, like say the water's moving, the fascia, the myofascia, the skin, that the air pressure on top of it. You might take your time too, just saying, right?
Yeah.
If you might not rush to pick up this pen so quickly. Keep it in mind, okay? It's not that they can't, they may sense more. The more you, parent, adult, caregiver, friend, whomever, start to become aware of your body, the better that they can navigate theirs, okay? Because it's a symbiotic. They give you access to more of this awareness that we've all been seeking, okay? We have an easier time a lot of times in our physical body. Not every diamond child has a difficult time in their physical body. They don't. And most of them don't. They just have awareness that's not necessarily as dense or heavy, but they have an increased awareness of certain things. And they're very much in touch and they're very comfortable and they can still navigate. But things might look like they're having, you know, a harder time. So the more you become aware of the sensations in your hand, let's just say, like, how long have you been holding your hand together like this for a while? Okay, if I've been holding my hand together like this for a while, like I might have a little bit of a sensation if I bring it apart. Notice how things feel. Now back to the vibration of feelings, which we're talking about. Okay, so something happens. Child knocks over a glass of water or a glass of milk. It spills all over the place. You're already having kind of a rushed experience. You see it and you're like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Right. Then what is the tendency? And this is no blame, nothing. Don't blame yours, please. That's the antithesis of this. I'm just saying this is what happens a lot of times. I still do it.
We have a reaction. We have
a reaction. And then I start to say, you know, like, this is why I tell you to put this not on this counter. This is why you need to hold things with your hands. And your shoes are over here. And why don't you put your shoes away? You know, you're 16 years old. Can't you get your stuff together? And you're spinning and you're up here. And then all of a sudden, everything is
chaos.
chaos. Now, here's the fun part. You get the opportunity to just stop and say, like, okay, how do I actually feel? Not what do you think about this situation and how annoying it is. Guess what, folks? Annoyed is actually not a feeling. Agitation, discomfort, that's a sentient sense feeling. Annoyed is an experience that's paired with thought that we've given. So annoyed, I won't let you get away with. What does annoyed feel like? Well, no, it's like, no. I don't take annoyed. That's the one. So you don't get to say I feel annoyed. I feel or helpless. That's not a feeling either. That's a mentalization of a feeling. I feel heavy in my heart. I'm actually kind of sad. Like also no overwhelmed. I don't want overwhelmed either, folks. I feel tired. I feel depleted I feel like I'm out of gas. That's okay. I'll take out of gas. I feel a lot of pressure in my heart. I feel my, you know, like I don't, if I look left or right, I'm going to say something. Don't say that I'm going to say something dumb. I feel looking left and right is difficult. I feel kind of paralyzed. I feel staticky. And you can say you can angry, totally fine. I feel anger. I'm just I got the, that's an easier one to identify. But some of the other ones, well, I'm overwhelmed. All right, what does overwhelmed feel like? How was it sensed? That's what I want you to pay attention to. Not because overwhelm has a huge collective construct behind it.
Yeah.
It's, don't do that to yourself. You're way more advanced than that. Even though this overwhelm might seem like an advanced way to put together a lot of things, I want you to notice how you actually feel. And then when you notice how you actually feel, all of a sudden it's acknowledging the vibration that you're currently vibrating in, because that's what's happening. And it all goes out for us. Whereas diamonds, it's all going on here, but it's also all going on out here. So the more that we bring awareness into here, they know it's safe to be in here too. So if they can be, because that's that, they're so sentient, so feeling, so vibrational. If we can stand to sit through that, that just shows them, oh, it's safe to do that. And you know how many times you have to do that? Like twice, until they know you know how to do it. And you'll notice almost an immediate shift over change with it. Okay. Just sitting with the feeling without explanation. What were you going to say? You look ready to say something.
Well, what I was noticing is that if we have a reaction, then what happens is we put multiple vibrations out and we start to create what I would call a very choppy, rough emotional field. And it takes time to calm that down. It takes time to unwind it out of other emotions and systems. So just being able to go like, wow, you knocked your glass over. I feel so many things right now. I feel this, 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 until you can bring it down calm, means that your cleanup, emotional cleanup, is so much shorter, and your connection is so much stronger.
Well, and the way that it gets cleaned up is that it gets transmuted and transformed into something else. So you don't even have to clean it up. And also, you don't need to say it out loud. This is not anything that you have to verbalize to your child. You just are acknowledging it to yourself. So when Denise was saying, this is my little shaky bottles that I use for thousands of things, like it gets all, you're like all over here. And this is just, you're not like thought, it's pulling it over here. It's thought's pulling it over here. It's filling in the back. It's in the front. It's over here. It's over there. It's on the floor. Okay, whatever. But if you can just notice how you feel, okay, this is very pretty. Like, isn't that kind of nice? Like, it's kind of nice. And then if you just notice, you can't notice this if it's up here and, and I'm not blaming you. You can still do that stuff. It's fine. I'm just letting you know that this is something you can do. You can have a fit if you spill a glass of water. I'm going to tell you, you can clean it up with a paper towel and some stuff. You can still have I don't care. Okay. But this is something to do. So you're all over the place, like round all of wherever. But in order to be able to like get to here, and this is still swirling, but then it starts to settle itself down a bit. And then you notice the vibration, and you notice it begin to open up and shift. You notice it begin to return to where it is most equalized in its stuff. And then you can simply ask internally to be placed in the perfect vibrational match to continue. And then all of a sudden, because you're already in acknowledging, connected with, meaning in your awareness of, like direct awareness of your vibration, it comes just right away. Boom, there it is. And you had to do nothing. And I'm so glad that you didn't distract yourself, because that doesn't work this way. That doesn't work as completely like this. You can distract. That's fine. All right. But if you want to have, this is something else you can do. You don't have to be so cognitive behavioral. This is not done with the brain. We're a lot more than the brain. We know that, right? Everybody's very focused on their vagus nerve. Okay. All the time. It's a very big thing. I mean, most people, maybe not most, but a good majority of, like, let's say Americans at least know somebody who is aware of the vagus nerve, right?
Oh, Instagram
Poly,
just hits it all the time. So yeah.
polyvagal theory, all that stuff. That's great. And now it's become more stuff like that. Okay. What is the vagus nerve? Okay. It's a connection with your central nervous system. What's your central nervous system? Your body intelligence. It's where your body elemental connects through. And it's a lot of water. Okay. It's a lot of fluid in your central nervous system, like spinal fluid. Okay, all that stuff. So if it's all shaken up all the time and it's getting clogged up, and this is hardening, because that's what happens when too much floods, it dams itself, because any good water system knows how to dam itself from flooding. Yeah. So it will constrict and it will harden so that it can cool your system down, right? In a certain kind of a way. But that can leave tension, that can leave that, you want this to be open and soft, right? So when this is open channeled and soft, it goes back to open channeled and soft a lot better when you're not adding thoughts to every single thing. Oh, I need to think of my vagus nerve. I don't want any thought. I want sensation. Like right now, I'll ask Denise, like right now, I can tell you my face is not hot, but I noticed that I am less, like, I noticed that I became less aware of what I was saying. Nope, that's not the right answer. How do I feel right now? I feel okay. I'm pretty good. I'm a little elevated, not because I was shaking this around. I don't want that. I don't want, because I just want, feel like my heart's a little elevated. Because when we go into, it's because I was trying to stay on topic and I don't want to look stupid, and I'm doing a video with a person that I have a lot of respect for and revere, and I don't want these people to think what have I just done? I just smeared peanut butter all over this whole situation. Now everything's sticky and yucky. And now, I'm such a, like, why did I do that? Like, notice how you feel when you say, oh, why did I do that? Start from there. You always can start from wherever you are. So even if you went into long-term, I'm blah, 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 check with the vibration, become the vibration you wish to feel, be the vibration you wish to feel. You always are vibrating. You always are light. You're always light vibrating at a certain speed, made up of these elements vibrating together atomically and all this other stuff. I'm not a scientist, but I know enough to say that it's always vibrating. Okay.
Do you have a tip or not a tip, but a technique that you do when you want to catch yourself? You just did that beautiful sharing of what it must be like, but is there something that you can do? Like for me, I go and and then by the time my hands come together, I've recognized that I've slowed everything back down and I'm back to presence again.
Well, you're lucky that we're talking about these kids, because nothing associated with these kids will I ever try to monetize from. Okay. But this is the trillion big bucks pay me question. Okay. Because I teach people this all the time, but because we're doing this, you're just going to get it. Now, this is my way. This is like, it's really amazing. Okay. So for me and for everyone that I've ever taught it to, it's really simple. And this is how I do it. I go to the center of my being. Guess what? The center of my being is not me going in here. It's me going into the center of my being, like my huge luminous body bio light field. Okay. So what I want you to do, even right now, and I'll have you do it, is I want you to imagine your body right now, where you sit physically, is at the center of a light body that's you, but is really big. So you just put yourself right at the center. Your physical body now is very small in comparison to how big this kind of, think of it as like a, like a cutout of light that's you, but it's just really big. So find yourself right at the center of that light.
Everything gets really easy.
Wow. And you could imagine, like, see?
Isn't it like immediately just like, oh. what am I worrying about? What was I concerned about? This is cool. I'm here.
So it's amazing. And this, to me, being able to share this on this topic, when it comes to, I didn't come to, perhaps, yes, that was a simple thing that came to me. And my meditations are very different, and I get a lot of information. It's all built on steps before. Every step comes before, after the one that was built before. Okay. So please know that you're getting this technique because you can. Okay. You can, and you can use it right away. Like, please do. It's like an iPhone. You don't have to use a rotary telephone. You know, you can if everything breaks down, fine. But like, yeah, here, or I can have this, you know what I mean? Please just, and if you want to bring attention to a set, like if you need something, let's say you want to have a pain in your hand or a pain in your arm, or you're feeling, you know, kind of mixed up, like if you feel mentally mixed up, simply sit, find yourself at the center of the big light body around you. Your body becomes very, very physically small in comparison to what is around you. You're right there at the center. And then just shift where your physical body is to the headspace of your light body. And then because guess what? We are not limited by this.
Mhm.
We believe ourselves to be limited by this, but because these children have showed up, I've learned way that we are not, because I want them to come in here. They spend a lot of time out here, but the more that I then can go out there, the more they know that they can come in here, because they taught us that we could go out there. We have to show them that this is safe. They show me that this is safe. They show me that I can do all this. And guess what? You have access to everything that you need in your whole Akash and all your records and all your everything and everything. So if you need some mental clarity, you can take your awareness, your physical body becomes very small, and shift it up into where the headspace of your light body image is so big, you become very small. You want to go into your pineal gland, go right ahead. Because guess what? That's what we've typically done. We've brought our awareness in our physical body, and we've tried to move around. Right?
And
I've
that's a little like, yeah.
haven't we? That's what I've done. I've done that for like 3 decades.
Yeah.
Trying to move around by like, how do I do that? It was always uncomfortable for me. I could do it, but I then would just get like whatever. Like I was like, oh my gosh. So if I have pain in my hand, I can just put myself in my physical body, take my awareness to that hand, and just figure out what I might need to do in this physical world to help repair that. I might get an answer, put it on ice, go see a doctor, stop worrying. It's fine. It's just, that was just some completely, you just thought your hand hurt and it doesn't anymore. It was just quick. It's really amazing. So if you would like to be placed, that's how you can put yourself in that centered space to bring yourself back to a stasis in that perfect vibrational match. It's your center. It looks like it's like bringing all the things together. So that's my little tip. I do recommend people use that. It's pretty simple.
Well, it's very simple and it also feels to me like you're meeting this divine child where they're most comfortable, and you're showing them, hey, I know how to do this. And they're like, finally, you are actually like showing an example of what your skills are. But then when you come in and you navigate and you do 3D stuff, they're like, oh, that's how you do that.
She
So
said it, folks. There you go. She said it.
I'm thinking of like how my granddaughter, and like how we had this little conversation about how to crawl, and what the conversation we had was out in here. And then when I brought it back in, she brought it back in, and then she started to move her body almost within minutes after talking. And I was like, see, we can have these expanded and present embodied, expanded present embodied conversations.
Yeah. And then just the acknowledgement of that creates that connection. And I call that a rainbow connection, because it's through I've spent my entire life, and I'm sharing this with you and whoever sees this. This is like this has been since I can remember. I I literally always wanted to find out the rainbow connection. Like I have, like it engulfs my life. Okay. This, what I think is, it's the space that we create between people. It's a different communication connection. It's a different way. It's not a spoken language. It can be, but it's a beautiful little connection. It's not a bridge. Okay. Please don't think of this as like your pet's rainbow bridge, because it's not. That's something separate. It's a connection because you, it, and we can have it. And this is how it shows up for me. We have all these different frequencies of children and people being born that we've, kind of followed over the past, 70 years, maybe a little bit longer, but, like you have indigo, you have a crystal child, you have a rainbow child. Understand, the rainbow child is not a rainbow, so to speak. They're effusive. They're water. They are emotion. They are wetting. They saturated the earth to just allow for emotions to be and to be acknowledged a lot. And they feel them very deeply. They could get very, very deep things moving around, moving the earth. Okay. And when you have that rainbow child bring that saturation, what's been covered with that heat and that pressure so deeply in there can then start to come up to the surface. And then all of a sudden you're walking and you step on this really pointy, kind of shiny, hard thing. And then you notice this beautiful diamond in the sky because there's all this water around. And that's because you've got this diamond child that's been able to come up. So that rainbow in the sky, I don't think Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Stars, the diamond in the sky. The diamond in the sky is that rainbow connection. Feel that. Thank you so much. That's some major shit right there. I really appreciate that. That's something else.
I've never understood it either. And walking it through, or, walking through it with you, to me, it feels like the rainbow connection. To me, this is what happens when we're in that expanded field and we meet others in that expanded field, and we're simultaneously sharing information and feelings and thoughts. And then we don't have to speak. We don't have to bring it into words that have history behind it or conditioning behind it. We are just in that very divine, loving spot. So how do we get more of this, Ashley? That's what I wanted.
Getting into your imagination, of course, because that's where this all resides, and that's where this all comes from. Because that's imagination. I'm here to like totally de-manifest any corruption that has ever been involved in the truth of what is imagination, because that's where any of this comes from. And that's what these kids are allowing us to do, because everything that we have is imagined. Everything that we see as real is imagined. Okay. I mean, like, lights working is magic. Putting two wires together and all of a sudden you light up a whole street. Are you kidding me? That's amazing. The thing is that people think that that's why we have a body. We are the magic tool to do all this stuff, right? We are that action, that fire. Okay. Like, we have to do it. Like, yeah, power of thought, the intention, if you have an intention circle, you can really make things move. Sure. But there's work involved. You have to be present for that. You have to be in your body for that. You have to do these things. So that's what this body is for. So if you can just acknowledge that imagination, like, you get everything that we do is somewhere imagined. It doesn't come from, our brain. Your brain is not what imagines. And please don't ever, this is one thing, and they're children on the spectrum or that are neurodivergent, diagnosed with autism, ADHD, if anybody ever says to you, oh, they don't have imagination, please say back to them, that's a very interesting statement that's how it showed up for you. Because that's as far from the truth as there ever could be. And that they don't have empathy. Every single human being alive has empathy. Guess what? Even narcissists have an empathy area, but they just don't know how to turn it on. Okay. But they have it. Everybody's an empath. Everyone.
Well, it's
Okay.
part of this, the way cells communicate with each other. It is the most natural vehicle of communication that we have, is
There are,
vibration language.
thank you. Do you know if it's hot outside? Do you
Already tell from your body is, wow, I got to get this sweater off. It's too hot.
do you know
Whoa.
if something stinks? Right? Do you know if
Mm.
something smells? Do you know if something, you can hear something off in the distance? You're vibrating, you're feeling it, you're getting the feeling. We all are empaths. Diamond children they don't have debilitating empathy. No, not at all. They
It,
actually,
it seems like
oh,
they have more. More is not that voice. More is such a limiting word, isn't it? It's so sophisticated and so natural because they don't have these layers that they have to pull off to say, is this imagination? Is this, what is this?
right,
They just exude it. That's it. They just exude it.
right. Like the what the and I want to kind of like sum this up with this. The image that I get right now is empathy with, like, it's like all of a sudden somebody sees a cow and the cow comes over to them and this person is feeling really like, oh my God, I love this cow. Like, this cow is amazing. I love this. Oh my God, can you believe this cow is here? I feel this cow. And then you see a farmer and he has like 500 cows and he's just walking amongst them. That's it. That does not mean that he is not know that how those cows feel. He's able to be around a lot of those cows and walk around them. And none of them are stampeding him and he's not getting in their way. Whereas you're lucky you only have one cow, because if you acted like that amongst the herd, they'd all smash you over.
Mhm.
Okay. It's being, oh my God, I think I know this cow is a lot. Like, you think that farmer who has all these cows in his pasture, that he just let's just pretend he's like a really humane farmer and just milks for the colostrum that they give to the baby cows first, and then they put it off for somebody's health food, you know, desire after all the baby cows have got it. He knows that already. He knows what's up with the cow at the end of the pasture. He knows what's up with the middle cow. He's not concerned because he's enamored and wowed by, I think I'm feeling something from this cow. Right? And I'm not denigrating people that feel very deeply and are able to feel, but they're so far beyond that thing that
See all of it in every part of the connection. So, I,
white cows.
no words. Yeah.
Interesting.
House was a good one. That was a great story.
Okay. Well, there you go. Great.
All right. Last words. Anything you want to do to sort of hit those main points that we did and bring it together?
Okay. So notice how you sense your feeling. Notice the feeling. You just have to notice it. You don't have to do anything about it.
Mhm.
Stop yourself before you go into thought. Thought's what breaks your magic. You want magic? Stop thinking. You want to use magic? Stop thinking. You want to use magic? Stop thinking. You want to use magic? Feel. That's it. Sense. That's it. All you want you to do. I know a lot of people that watch this want to use magic. This is how I use magic and it actually works. Stop the thought. The thought interrupts the whole thing. You got to start from where you are the next time. But just because it interrupts, it doesn't mean you get to go, you don't have to go back, and you can't, because that's now doesn't exist.
That
So
doesn't
now
exist.
you're in a new moment. Notice how you're feeling. Is this the energy that would conduct, like, just even think about it for a second. Is anger the best vibration to have when you're trying to explain, you know, a lesson about putting your backpack away? Anger, explaining life skill. Putting them together is like putting, you know, piss on ice cream. Don't do it. Okay. Yeah. It's a real, yeah, it's gross, right? So no, anger, only thing anger is good for is biting really hard. Or if you need to lift something up to save a life, to save a life. That's what the energy of anger can bring to us. It's a primal thing. Is confusion a good time to start explaining, you know, a process? No. Is agitation like feeling uncomfortable, feeling a frustration is a feeling that's felt and that is, it's on the anger side. Probably not. So notice how you feel. Oh, I'm feeling frustration. I'll let you get away with frustration. I'm not going to let you get away with annoyed because that's too much mental. I'm feeling, guess what? Sometimes you won't even, don't label it. Just notice it. Don't even say anything. Just notice how you're feeling.
Yeah.
That's it.
Sense, notice, sense, notice, sense, notice. And it's a quiet internal process. And it's
And you do them there at the same time because you don't have to give it a name. You just put your, okay. And then you remember, okay, put me in the perfect vibrational match for, for clarity. And then all of a sudden, they use that vibration and it just changes, it tunes up, and now it's singing in that key because it's like all the hands on the bottom of the piano. Okay. But then it's like whoop, and then it just starts to play nicely. It's still using the same instrument, the same ingredients. Okay. But it's just using it's using the same lab. Okay. So to speak. It's just pulling some things, it's just shifting it, and you're not having to distract or do anything. You already know how to vibrate at a very high rate and to shift your vibration already because it does it automatically. You're just asking it to do it for this purpose intentionally, like with your own command, and it really listens because that's when you're in touch with
consciously.
And when you put yourself in that vibrational match for clarity, let's just say, or to come into your center, there you are. And if something is needed, if more words are needed to explain, if intervention is needed, guess what? You don't have to think about it. You're just going to go do it because now you're completely aligned. That's how you become aligned with your highest value. And for most of you who are watching this and you have one of these children, especially, your highest value is probably their well-being and safety. Okay. Right. And that means part of their well-being and safety is you taking care and learning how how much you actually can do, and surprise yourself. I'm asking you to do this with no outcome in mind. Do it for the sake of just doing it. Just do it. Just do it again. I'll leave with this. There's a little story about third graders who were given this assignment, and they were going to be judged on making pottery flower pots, and they could decorate them and design them. Half the class got, the assignment. They had a month to make one really good flower pot, and the other half of the class was told to make as many flower pots as they could, make 1,000, okay, in 1 month's time. Guess who ended up winning the prize for the better flower pots? The one who made thousands, because they were told to just make pots, just go make the pots, go make the pots. They made the best pots because they weren't looking to, you can make the best pot you possibly can in a month.
Yeah. What's the best pot? What's it going to look like? What do they want? How's it going to be judged? As opposed to, I don't care. I'm just going to start.
I'm just going to start making the fucking pots.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then it gets easier and it gets easier. And it's for no purpose other than to just make the pots. You're not doing it. They didn't even know, the other side didn't even know that they were being judged. They were just told to make 1,000 pots. So they did. Okay.
Beautiful.
And that's it.
So I want to drive this right in, which is when we have a diamond child, when we have a child that's unique and can be challenging, can be beautiful, can be all of it, right? I have had the privilege of watching a very dear friend parent a diamond child, and I've always wondered, what is it that she does that brings awe to me, and I'm learning all the time. And it's exactly what you just said. She holds the field, she manages herself, and she doesn't push her impatience, her frustration onto him. She holds, moves with him, holds, moves with him, holds, moves with him. And I've just watched her and her family and her relationship with her son and her son become the most glorious beings of light all the time. So I didn't know what it was until we went through this today, and now I can see that this is that, for lack of a better term, unconditional parenting, unconditional relationship, which is I manage myself and then I meet you there.
Yeah. Because you're a
Beautiful.
Sherpa. You better take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Because, and that means, yeah, like this stuff. Yeah, exactly. You got to do it. And you got to dump the stuff that doesn't take care of you.
Mhm.
Okay.
It gets in your way of this connection that gets in
Yeah.
the way
And
of
you
you
will if
being
it comes to your
yourself.
child.
Yes.
See how wonderful they are? You will get rid of the stuff that does not help you be able to be their best possible, relationship with them. You'll dump it as quicker than a hot rock. Because if somebody told me dump the kid, and people did tell me, and it took me a little while, but I'm telling you, and I still occasionally do. It's gotten so much better. I care about about my priorities, my values, or my children, their well-being, but that I'm doing well so that I can do what is required. And that also extends to the children that I work with, which is one of the reasons why, in order to get more of this stuff that I'm talking about, you would probably have to, like, reach out to me, because some of it, because I do value the work that I do very much, and that's one of the reasons why you don't get too far into certain things, because you know if
Because it's
it's
an intricate process and it's something that's individualized that you work with.
however, if you use the couple of things that we talked about today, we've been talking for an hour, that's a lot. However, it was only a few things. It's a beautiful divine paradox that this is. There is so much complexity involved in the simple solution, that then we get to use this simple solution and not even, please just throw it out, because it doesn't, nobody needs credit. Like, if it works for these kids, you will do anything. And if the anythings that you do are actually stuff that's good for you, talk about yourself however you want. Say as nasty things as you want, but please don't talk ever about your children's mother that way, your children's father that way. Talk about Ashley however I want, but I never would dare speak about Mackie or Brody's mother that way.
Yeah.
So guess what? Kind of puts you in a position, right?
It
Where
puts you
that
in a
stuff,
position to grow. You're gonna grow, you're gonna expand, you're going to change the world that you have an influence in around you. And so what
mhm,
happens is when these children, whether it's indigo, crystal, rainbow, now diamonds, are seeded in, what happens is the parent, the adults that are working the world around them start to shift and change, and the world changes because of the children, with the children.
absolutely.
And that's like, it's just so beautiful to see what's possible now that the diamonds we're really matching what they're capable, what we're capable of understanding about them at this time. That's why we do these updates. This is what we see now. Here's more
Right.
information.
And find yourself at the center of your light being. They will wipe your mind sometimes. If you want something, just ask them to, just
The
know that you're going to
manifestation.
find a school. Found another school that just like showed up out of thin air. That's exactly what the kid like. It's like 15 minutes
Houses,
away.
jobs to pay for services. The sheer amount of things that when you say, hey, we need this, let's create this, boom, shows up.
Well, no, normally they'll say, here's what we're going to do. And and then you'll get the thing and think, huh. And then it all of a sudden shows up, but you have to be the one that does the thing. You
Yeah.
have to be the magic tool that ignites the call. Like, you've got to put it into, and so you'll do it for your kid. You might not do it for yourself, but you do it for yourself so that that self does it for them. So you're doing it for yourself. So, like, people that blame themselves, go ahead, blame yourself. Don't blame your kid's mom. Don't blame your kid's teacher. Don't blame that child's teacher. Then you acknowledge it and you say, okay, learn from that and won't do that again. Keep moving, because we're not going to get into shame and blame. And I do this because I'm a pattern. You have no choice. It will eventually go away. You won't be able to keep it. So sometimes it's nicer to be able to give things away on your own. like to voluntarily say, you know what, I'm dropping that. I'm dropping that. Then there really aren't any shortcuts in dropping things. You just got to drop it. The stuff that does not help you in this now moment, like
Yeah.
baby clothes, you don't wear them anymore. People have floods and fires and stuff and they need clothes. You don't need to keep that, give it to something else.
Really give it away, it no longer serves you, which is where we're at with these flares. Knocking things off of us, just get rid of the stuff that doesn't serve you anymore and grow with the flares. Go.
Well, Lucas said get ready for just burning off all the scars. All of the scars, all of the stuff is just burning away. That's what it's doing. And it's actually going to feel pretty good. And you're not going to remember what it feels like to have had it. You're just going to be like, wow, okay. Because it took hard earned to get that much stuff. Like you did a lot of work to be able to walk through this stuff pretty simply, where some people may feel it more. You're not going to feel it quite as much at all. You'll feel relief. It's like that last little, it's like that for people who have been, it's a lot of hard earned stuff. So like parents of any kid who's perceived to be different or presents as a different learning style or as just a way of operating.
Yeah.
You have been through it. That is not, you're the strongest people in the world, in my opinion. You can do anything. And I mean that. Not the strongest people. There are people who are strong. But if you can do that, everything else comparatively is like not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? Like taking care of yourself is like actually pretty easy because you have control over that. So take care of yourself. So like if person's like, oh, I don't know if I could do that. You can get that kid to eventually use the bathroom. You can do pretty much anything you have patience for. And then all of a sudden there's the immediacy and it shows up. They allow also another thing a diamond child does. If you want something and you're aligned with it and you are willing to be in that vibration, to place yourself in vibration of patience and what's it called, gestation, it shows up like that. Like literally their amplification of their frequency will have it like happen immediately. Like it'll be there tomorrow. Like if I want an idea, like it just shows up. Like if I have an idea, it's amazing. It's not even it is manifestation, but it's like 8.0. Like I always go back to that. It's so cool. And I know this is a lot of information, so we'll continue to do them as people have interest in and whatnot, but wanted to get it out there. So feel your vibration.
So glad we got a chance to do this. And Ashley, so glad that you have all of this information and experience firsthand and wisdom, and you can share it with us. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Denise. Much love to everyone. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.